Class, Zachary White here, and we will be looking over what I got wrong on quiz number 3. So, to start off, we have my dilemma, which is that unfortunately I cannot tell exactly which ones I picked, and it's been a few days since I took the quiz. As far as I remember, these are the 3 options I picked off. So, the classical interpretation of work views labor as best love to slaves, a rite of passage, and purely physical. Now, since I got 2.4 points out of 4, that means each option is worth 0.8 points. So I got 2 of these wrong, whether I clicked a box that should not have been checked or left a box unchecked that should have been checked. So, I'm going to leave this up here while I explain a little bit of the digging I did to try and figure out where I went wrong. So, looking at classicalism as the basis for the idea, the classical interpretation of work, we can see that classicalism came about in the 17th and 18th centuries in Europe, and were largely based on Greek and Roman styles of government and philosophical thinking and values about life. So, to bolster that, we have a man from Greece, himself, Plutarch, explaining that laborious work is best left to those of lower class, and that somebody with such a free and willful mind as himself would never actually touch a hammer and chisel. So, a very strong point getting put across there. I already recorded this once and forgot to mention my source for this is as shown my job, myself, and Work and the Creation of the Modern Individual by Al Gini. So, getting back to where we were. Alright, so, revising what I thought, we can kind of cross these out one by one. Obviously, work in this interpretation is not seen as liberating, but rather something that must be done by certain members of society. So from that, who are the people who are going to be doing it? Well, best left to slaves, or the very poor serfs and working class, but let's be real, they're going to throw that out to the slaves most of all. And by nature, with work being associated with lower castes and slaves, it is going to be purely physical due to lack of education and undignified due to their social standing. So the classical interpretation of work obviously places a higher premium on the arts and sciences and does not make a moral distinction on those that are privileged to have them and those that aren't. It just states that work is undesirable and is for those in the lower castes, where those born lucky enough to be able to be exposed to them can indulge in arts and sciences and philosophical thought. Now, the one that still tripped me up was it as a rite of passage. But we can see that since it is work is kind of separated along caste lines in this view, it is not necessarily a rite of passage for all people in the society, or for anyone really, because those in the lower caste are not ever going to really overcome anything through work. They're going to stay at the same sociological level. And those born with the privilege to indulge their mind and with education don't have to go through the work. So it is not a rite of passage. So to update, I changed my answers. I clicked in the box to undignified. I unclicked the box for it being a rite of passage. I think with these adjustments, I would have gotten the question right. But if anyone got this question right and would like to correct me, please do so in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend.